Peace. So today I'm going to talk a little about these theories of our existence. How did we come about? Where have we come about? Where are we going? Why are we here? Everything that everybody wants to put their 2 cents worth in it, so will I, and which is going to be the truth, obviously, because it comes from the Quran, which is the absolute truth of our existence and the purpose of us being here and what we are doing in this creation. So, I mean, let's look at some of these things that people talk about, like the matrix theory, like we're in some sort of a simulation. Well, yeah, I mean, you can imagine that, but you can touch and feel this thing that you're in, right? How do we sense it? Through our bodies, yeah? What are we? The soul that's inside, yeah? So basically you can say it's a simulation, but it's a real simulation. It's a real deception, which we'll come to later, yeah? So it is, you can kind of figure it out that for yourselves, obviously, but it's not the reality. The reality is that we are in this existence. It is a deception. It is a delusion. It's a hoax, and you have to figure out why and what's the purpose of this this hoax. And there are people who say there were one consciousness, yeah. We are having an experience like this guy, David Icke. I mean, he's got a lot of good things to say, but in this aspect, he's completely off track and he is going to go to hell. Oh, there's no hell? Yeah, there is, okay? So anyway, so he says that we are one consciousness having an experience, or an infinite, to be more precise. He says we are infinite consciousness having an experience in this form. Well, you're absolutely wrong, Mr. David Icke, because there is only one consciousness that created. We are from that consciousness, but we are not that consciousness. We will return to that consciousness, but we will not be that consciousness. So, you know, you're a little off. Actually, you are light years. Sorry, there's no light years. You are off by an inordinate amount. It's complete hogwash you say about this. A lot of the other things that you say are quite entertaining and factual, actually, Mr. Icke I'm talking to, David Icke. But, you know, other people think about this theory as well in a similar fashion. So then there's all these spiritualists that, you know, we're spirit, we're all garbage, nonsense. Then there are these Scientologists who think that there's an alien warlord or some creepy kind of creature, or creatures that created us and they're coming back for us. Yeah, that would be God, His Spirit, and the angels, and yeah, they're coming back for us. Don't worry about that. Yeah, it's happening. It's going to happen. Then people think that this earth is going to last forever and it's always been here, always will be there, and that's all there is. Yeah, they're wrong as well. You know, this is one earth. There are many earths outside of this earth that we live in, and there are realms outside that, of course, I can't prove it. There are 6 other heavens above the heaven that we live under, and there are earths out there, you know. I mean, how do you get there? I don't know. Try getting there. You can't. God's already told you can't get out of here. You're going to die here. You're going to live here. So these are some of the things. And of course, there's the Big Bang Theory, which is nothing but a disaster, like any explosion would be a disaster. No explosion has created a reality that we exist in. I mean, usually explosions destroy, they do not create. I'm saying usually because some explosions might create something, I don't know. But generally speaking, we did not come from nothing, whereas the earth and the heaven was created from nothing as far as we're concerned. But the nothing that created is outside of our existence, so it's not nothing out there, and it's God and His Spirit and the angels. So let's look at what this life is. It's a deception. Just understand the fact that this life is a deception, a hoax, and it's going to try and deceive you in many ways. Why that is a much deeper question, and I've answered that in many of my lectures before this, or talks before this, whatever you want to call them, and you can go listen to those. But the life itself, this life is a deception. Don't let it deceive you. This is the Lord's warning to you, God's warning to you. Do not let the life deceive you. So let's look at some of the things that we are told about this life in the Quran. So first here in chapter 31, O you the mankind, fear your Lord and fear a day, not he will repay a parent over his child, and not child he will repay over his parent, a thing, surely promise of God true. But not it surely deceive you the life of the world, and not it surely deceive you with God the deception. So God has created this deception. It is because of God that there is deception in this world. When you look into these theories of or conspiracy theories or conspiracies, and you try and unravel them, and you find such pleasure in unraveling all the deception that is going on in the world today, you're just unraveling the deception of the last 50, 100, 200, maximum 500 years. This whole life is a deception. Once you understand that you're living in a deception, then you will see these other deceptions as minor impediments to the reality. So don't let the life of the world deceive you, and don't let it deceive you with God, the deception. So first, and fear God, and fear a day that no one's going to pay anyone anything back that day. And again, you can look at the chapter I'm reading here. I'm just going to read the verse. And not this, the life of the world, except lightness and play, or bullshit and play, or fun and games. That's what it is, this life. And surely the home of the hereafter to be here the life, if they were they knowing. So what is the hereafter? The life after this death, which none of you, not none of you, very few of you really believe. Actually, really, you say it from your mouths. You don't really believe there's a life after this life. And that life is a real life. This life is just lightness and play and amusement. That's what this is, a deception, a hoax, a trial. And strike to them example of the life of the world, like fluid. We send it down from the heaven, but mixes with it growth of the earth, but becomes dust, spread it the winds, and is God over everything powerful. So this is what happens on the earth. Look at it. You don't need an education to see this. The fluid comes down, things grow, they become dust, and the wind spreads it. That's what life is. That's what happens to all of us as well, fundamentally, in a parable, in a metaphorical terms. In some metaphorical term, that's exactly what happens. God, He extends the sustenance to any He wishes, and He measures. And they rejoice with the life of the world, and not the life of the world in the hereafter except play. So this is denigration. There's so much denigration of this life in the Quran that it seems like we're being told to forget about it. This life is just BS, just concentrate on God and concentrate on your faith and do what's right, which is written in the books of God, which nobody wants to listen to. And what do? They rejoice with the life of the world because God sustains them. If God sustains you, you start thinking that somehow you're like chosen of God, that He's bestowed you with so much wealth, and you start rejoicing with the life of the world, and you forget the hereafter. You forget the fact that you're going to die. Death is certain. Death is absolute. It will occur. You're not going to escape it. Nobody in this life is going to escape death. So, that is a fundamental fact that you need to understand. O you, those who believe, what to you, when said to you, run in path of God, you are heavy to the earth. Are you happy with the life of the world from the hereafter, but not sustenance of the life of the world in the hereafter except little? Again, denigrating or belittling the life of the world compared to the hereafter. Yeah, you got to live your life here. It's not like we have a choice. You didn't choose to get born. You were born. You didn't decide to be alive. You're alive. Yeah. So in some cases, you can decide to die, but you can't really even make that decision 100%, because when you die, it is with the express will of God. It cannot happen without that. Then this is what God is going to say to those people who have lost their way and lost their souls in the hereafter. Those who took their way, lightness and play. So now you take the way which is to God, the so-called religion, but actually it's the way to God, submission to God and doing what's right, and buying the hereafter with the actions of what you do in this life, the actions that you go after, that you implement, that you follow, that you repeat, which are right, to buy the hereafter. But they took their way, lightness and play, the ones who are going to lose, and deceived them the life of the world. But the day we forget them, like what they forgot the meeting of their day this, and what they were with our signs, they contending. So keep contending with God's signs. This is what He's going to say to you that day. The day that the real life will appear. That's what's going to happen. You can argue. This is the fact. When you die, you will see. There's no need to fight. And not the life of the world, except play and lightness. And to be the home of the hereafter, better to those they're fearing. Fearing God, by the way. And what He tells you to fear. Will but not you understand. Will but not you understand. This is play and lightness. Death is written. It's not going to be overtaken by your technology, by your medical devices and your computer algorithms, and you uploading your consciousness into a stupid computer or a AI that you're so freaking enthralled by today that everything's going to be so perfect for you. It's not. You will die. Every soul will taste the death. And that day we will all be judged by God for what we have believed and what we have done. So one last thing, and there it is. Every soul will taste the death, and surely what you paid your rewards, day of the standing. The day of the standing is when we will be resurrected, all of mankind, all of demonkind, and we will all march to God and we will stand in front of Him to be judged. But any moved away over the fire and admitted the garden, but has achieved, and not the life of the world, except sustenance of the deception. Understand these facts. The life that you live is a sustenance of deception. Figure it out. Figure it out. If you don't figure it out soon enough, which most of you won't, then the end will be the fire. The end will be that fire blazing under your feet, under our feet. It's under the earth. The fire that will erupt that day is simmering under our feet, under the surface of the earth we stand on, the level, stationary earth we stand upon. Alright, well, that's the life of this world. A deception, a hoax, an illusion, a delusion, a deception. So, understand it. Peace.